Super spies, gadgets, sexy ladies, and elaborate set pieces are back to the sequel of the 2014 film Kingsman: The Secret Service with Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which again is directed by Matthew Vaughn.
We follow Eggsy, the main character from the first film.
Taron Egerton.
But this time he's known as Galahad because he's now officially part of the Kingsman agency.
Yeah.
But something happens and there's a new supervillain in charge of things, and
Julianne Moore.
He's forced to go stateside and join another secret agency over in America
called the Statesman. And they work together to try and figure out who this new supervillain is and what her deal is with trying to ruin the entire world. So we follow Eggsy on this adventure, and we've got some returning characters such as Merlin, played by Mark Strong, who's terrific, and a few other returning faces, as well as an amazing celebrity cameo. For those of you who haven't seen the original Kingsman movie, it's very much just like a campy spy flick that kind of... It's
a parody of the genre.
Yeah,
really.
It's a parody of the genre. It's very much like a representation of the old school James Bond movies about wicked gadgets and sexy cars and like just elaborate missions and far-fetched villains.
Yeah.
And it's, from the Kingsman, it had some beautiful action scenes and it introduced us to Eggsy. It was very much a boy-to-man kind of story.
Yeah.
It's learning him how to grow up and kind of face his destiny.
Take
responsibility, absolutely. And so it's a really difficult thing with sequels to a movie like The Kingsman: Secret Service because all that character development and that goal for that character...
You have to keep going. You have to extend that.
Yeah. And he reached it at the end of the first Kingsman. So when the Kingsman Golden Circle came out, where do you take Eggsy? You know what I mean? And it's such a tough thing for a sequel to do. And unfortunately, the issue with this movie is that it kind of falls flat in that department. Like, Eggsy
Very
doesn't...
little character development.
Yeah.
I was really hoping... They did kind of touch on it. His dealing with grief. Because obviously he's lost someone in the first film that was quite close to him. And he's sad about it. And you can tell there's a scene where he basically cries.
Yeah.
And then that's dropped for the rest of the film and it doesn't feature. And there's no development there.
Yeah. If you liked the first Kingsman movie, you're probably going to like the second one. I mean, it's very much the same movie. It's cut from the same cloth. It's very much the same storyline.
It even steps the action set pieces up to another level, I felt that the action was just insane. The choreography was amazing in the fights and just crazy gadgets and chase scenes.
Some of those beautiful action scenes are really nice, and some of those they kind of sneakily trying to make it look like they're one-shot takes, but they use CG to morph shots together, which kind of has this very comic booky feel.
Yeah.
I do agree that some of the action is and some of the set pieces are really cool.
Yeah.
But I do feel that none of them top the church shootout from the first movie, the Lynyrd Skynyrd Freebird shootout, because that was... I remember being in the cinema and watching that and being like, holy shit. Like, what is happening? It was just chaotic. And I remember being so taken back by it. And I didn't think they tried to do something with this movie near the end, but I just didn't feel like it got to that pedigree. Along with the villains in this movie, we've got Julianne Moore playing Poppy. And she's quite an eccentric villain. She, the thing with the Kingsman movies is they've got this very larger-than-life villains.
Yeah.
And,
like a comic book.
Very much like a comic book.
Because Kingsman's based originally on a comic.
Yeah. And Julianne Moore, she's obviously having a really fun time with her character, but unfortunately, it's very much the same villain as the original Kingsman. Just that same... It has to be this whole end-of-the-world scenario.
Yeah.
I felt they could have made this movie more of an intimate movie with Eggsy, and maybe not a worldwide villain, but more of just like a personal villain. I think...
Maybe, what would have been cool is maybe like a double agent within Kingsman, or like a smaller bad guy like that, but it's still like, like a big problem.
Yeah.
It's just rehashed the first
film.
film.
It's just very much rehashed. I mean, don't get us wrong. I think it's really well directed. Like, Matthew Vaughn, he's got a knack for action, and he's produced some of the greatest action movies and some of the action set pieces I've seen in a long time. But it's just, they've just fallen into this whole, sequelitis thing where it's just very much the same movie.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton's performance is still just as good, very likable.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Very likable dude. He's such a suave-looking Kingsman.
He just doesn't have that character development, which I wanted to see.
Channing Tatum plays one of the American statesmen. He's actually barely in it. He wasn't really in it
Very
much.
strange. It was almost like a cameo. They brought him in, and I thought he was going to be the main guy that was going to show them the American side of things.
It's the other dude, the dude from Narcos. Is like
and Channing Tatum just kind of disappears for 90% of the film and then reappears at the end briefly.
I love me some Jeff Bridges. I've always said in every review, like any movie Jeff Bridges is in, I'm gonna go watch it. And he's great. He's just playing. He's so good. He just plays the Jeff Bridges like the old Southern man. Like he's really good. He's always got a cigar in his hand. He's just flicking around. Which is great. And I think that they did nail the statesman, the American side quite well, as well as like the Kingsmen have got their suit shop. Yeah. And then the Americans have their whiskey. It's just really, it's kind of fun. And some of their dialogue between, the British and the American, there's always like that like bit of conflict. There's always a bit of shit giving. Yeah,
they keep calling his lasso a skipping rope. Which,
a problem I had with this movie is that it started off quite strong. I enjoyed, they kind of got straight into it. It starts off with a pretty epic chase scene. It does get straight into the movie, and then the middle part of the movie, I just felt dragged, and it just was slow, and I ended up getting bored, because I was like, what is happening? Because they could have cut 20 minutes, half an hour of that movie, I think, easy. And it would have helped the story push along. Yeah. Once we get to Julianne Moore's, Poppy's base, which I really enjoyed her base. I thought it was very kind of super villainy, like
very
in the
super
middle of the forest, kind of like a 50s diner, with a bowling alley and a donut shop. I really like that kind of stuff. Once we got to there, and we started getting like they're fighting the antagonist, the movie kind of takes off again. But it's just a shame that there's a big lull in the middle.
One thing which I wasn't expecting was the return of the princess from the first movie, who was kind of just used as like a dirty smut joke at the end.
If you save the world, we can do it in the asshole.
I'll be right back.
Played by Hannah Ahlstrom. And they brought her back, which is quite a brave decision, because she could have just been a throwaway gag.
Yeah, and like you didn't even know how good of an actress she was really from the first movie. So,
but she really holds her own in this. She's great.
And she's pulled some emotional weight, and she's got Eggsy, something with Eggsy to hold on to. Like it gives Eggsy a reason to kind of be. They used it quite well.
That's the kind of little character development that they do have is their relationship. Yeah. The only problem is that storyline kind of started feeling like a bit of a rom-com. There's a scene where he goes to have dinner with her parents, and it's that kind of awkward rom-com scene, We've seen it 100 times.
All in all, I have to say I was slightly disappointed in the Kingsman sequel. I was really looking forward to it. I wanted them to do something new, up the stakes, give us more spectacle.
More character development for Eggsy, who's such a great character.
Yeah, and I know it's tough to develop Eggsy because we've got most of his character developments being like his big chunk of it, his boy to man story has kind of been done. And it's just very much the same movie. So, I mean, if you enjoyed the first one, you are going to like the second one. But just be prepared, it's more of the same. Don't expect, a Citizen Kane sequel. It's I mean, the trailer kind of tells it all. There's going to be spectacle, action, there's going to be some violence. I did love, like, some of the gadgets and stuff, again, they always use. Like, some of the guns and like, the tricky ways that they fight and stuff. Yeah. And I really like Matthew Vaughn as a filmmaker. I think he's really, really good. I'm loving all his films. But yeah, take what you will from that and go see it. I don't know. But I'm going to end up on, I'm going to be probably a bit generous. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Overall, I was a bit disappointed with this film. I went into it hoping to see more of the Kingsman agency and see more into their inner workings and stuff, because Eggsy's now a full agent. But I didn't get that at all. They kind of dropped the Kingsman thing altogether and were like, let's go somewhere else. Let's see a new agency and who do things differently. But so I was disappointed on that front. Overall, performances were all good. CGI, like we said, was a bit disappointing in parts, but the action set pieces definitely lifted the game and felt really, really epic to me. And overall, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Nice. Good stuff.
It's very American.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed our review of Kingsman: The Golden Circle. If you have seen the first one or the new Kingsman: Golden Circle movie, comment below and say what you thought of the film.
As you can see, I tried for this review and I suited up, and Adam didn't.
Manners
because he's a lazy
maketh man.
Look, I've had a rather emotional day. Okay.
Mine's been pretty chill. So
Please like and subscribe, guys. Check out all the other reviews, top 5s. You know what to do. We tell you it all the time. And please enjoy your day. Catch you later.